I watched the TMZ special on Hulk Hogan that aired on Fox. It's up on Hulu now if you want to check it out, but there's really no reason. It's as basic as you can get for the time allotted. And, while they do cover the sex tape stuff and the racist rant, they gloss over so many things from his career and kept it to mostly a fluff piece. They interviewed a bunch of people for it, including Bill Goldberg, Mick Foley, Mark Henry, Charlotte Flair, and Jimmy Hart. But the one that got the most attention and that they really promoted it around, they got Madame Tussauds Wax Museum to loan them Vince McMahon for one night to sit down for an interview. The first that he has given since resigning from TKO last year. I've seen open casket funerals with dead bodies that look better than Vince McMahon looks these days. I thought he was going to ask Dr. Gordon if he wants to play a game.
Hello, Dr. Gordon. I'd like to play a game. And don't sneeze in front of me. I don't like it when people sneeze in front of me.
Fucking weirdo. You know what's sad? The man turns 80 years old next weekend. If he would have just allowed himself to age gracefully, without all the work he's had done, he'd probably look a lot less scary than he does right now. But on the show, McMahon said that he was shocked when he learned that Hogan died, comparing it to the death of a family member. He said, you just don't think about someone, a family member, or someone that close to you. You don't think about them passing away. Terry had kicked out, so to speak, of so many surgeries, and, he overcame that. It was a tremendous shock. It was a blow to my heart. And he was also asked about the Hogan sex tape leaking in 2015 with Hogan literally calling himself a racist. To a point. Got to include that in there, I guess, because for some people that makes it okay. But Vince said it was unforgivable. And I was like aghast. What happened? And when those things occurred, that's not like him. What in God's name is going on? As soon as it happened, obviously, the company didn't have anything to do with him anymore. We took him out of the Hall of Fame. You just don't do those things. And then he defended the decision to bring him back in 2018, saying, I knew he wasn't a racist. I've been with him for so many years. He wasn't a racist. He said some racist things, and he should pay for that, and he did. But in the end, I think everyone saw the real Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, and they felt, well, wait a minute, this guy, he doesn't act like a racist. He's not a racist. We all make mistakes. This was a big one, but he wasn't a racist. So it was unforgivable, but he knew Hogan wasn't really a racist, so it was okay to bring him back and do business with him again. Which is fine. I mean, that's a corporate decision, but you can't call it unforgivable and then make excuses for what the man is not when he is on tape admitting that he is. They interviewed Mark Henry for the show, who said that he was hurt badly by what Hogan said, and then hurt again when he suggested they do a tour of black colleges where Hogan would apologize and have an open dialogue with people. And Hogan turned him down, saying that he was advised to just not comment on it anymore. As if silence would be the solution here. It would just blow over and be forgotten about, I guess. Henry felt by not doing anything, it would never go away, and he never believed Hogan was sincere in his apology. Whoever gave Hogan that advice gave him very bad advice, because it was never going to just blow over. With some people, there was nothing that he was ever going to be able to do, nothing he was ever going to be able to say that was going to get them to change their mind. But I do believe, had he taken Mark up on his offer, or had he approached things a little bit differently, there are people who would have forgiven him. Not forgotten, but forgiven him. And maybe said, okay, you know what? He seems genuinely remorseful over this. When the stuff leaked out about the meeting backstage, when they brought him back in 2018 and how it was more a speech about not getting caught because you never know who's filming you, right? That told people all they needed to know about how sincere he was. I think people just wanted to believe that he was being genuine with them, but the man made a career out of lying his ass off. Even on the apology tour that he went on in the media, when he said that maybe it was ingrained in him from a young age because of the neighborhood that he grew up in Tampa. Yeah, that people use the N-word all the time, like casually. So he was brought up thinking that it wasn't this greatly offensive term since people were using it all the time. After he said that, there were multiple ex-neighbors of his who grew up in the same neighborhood as him at the time, who said they never heard that word being thrown around at all, like it was some kind of regular occurrence. They were like, we have no idea what he's talking about. Everything the man says has to be questioned. Vince was also asked about the segment earlier this year in Los Angeles on the first Netflix Raw, where Hogan was booed out of the building while promoting his Real American beer. And McMahon said, I was angry because we've known each other for a lifetime, professionally and personally. And setting up, so to speak, this larger-than-life superhero, you don't just let him walk out there. He deserves something very, very special. More than anyone, they owe him. It's just like, okay, here comes Hulk Hogan. I got angry because that's not the way I would have done it, and he deserved much more. First of all, way to throw Triple H and the people running the show under the bus. If he was running the show, that never would have happened. That's what he's implying, that if he had done things the way that he wanted to, then I guess in his mind, Hogan would not have been booed that night. You could have rolled out the literal red carpet for Hogan and shot off cannons for the man with giant applause signs for the audience to follow, and he still would have been booed out of the building. I promise you. There was nothing different that Vince McMahon would have done that night that would have elicited any reaction for Hogan other than the one that he got. I just saw an item in The Observer this week where Tony Atlas worked a show for Limitless Wrestling up in Maine last weekend, and he tried to do a eulogy on the show for Hogan, but he got booed so badly he just gave up. Which is to say, for those who think that he was only ever going to be booed in LA or in New York, there's lots of places that he would have been booed. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Goldberg in the special said that he was appalled by the fan reaction that night. Now, of course, he's sticking up for his brother. This is his brother in arms here. Goldberg's always been very complimentary of what Hogan did for him in WCW. Harvey Levin also brought up the 10-bell salutes for Hogan when they paid tribute to him on Raw and SmackDown, and he said that it was weird not having Vince there, and Vince agreed. Like, you could just sense how mad he was about not being invited. I don't know why he would have thought he would be. The man is still radioactive toxic sludge and shouldn't be within 100 feet of those shows.